Friends, welcome back to my channel 360 Degrees Tech Cafe. So, in continuing with our series on the programming zone, today I am here with one of the most important features of Python language, that is functions. Functions are an approach to provide modular and reusable construct that would help in writing a variety of programs from simple to complex and that could need complex logic and the logic that needs to be repeatedly used. So suppose you need to write a program that calculates something, some kind of averages, mean, median, variance, or any other thing, and you need to call it n number of times, maybe 10 times, 20 times, and maybe across a host of modules or systems. So you can utilize functions from Python. Okay, so uh, let's get to writing these functions on system, and for that we would be using Google Colab. Okay, so let's just start. First we would write a very basic Python function to just print a string. So let's go to Google Colab, and we have already created a file. So we'll select this one and just execute it. So as you can see, it was just a simple function where we were printing the text with the basic Python function, and we defined the function starting with the keyword def, which stands for definition. So it's the Python keyword for functions, and we just printed a string. So it could be just a random string. Now next, let's move to a more involved function. So let's have a list as an input, and then this function would okay. So I think let's put this one. So this is not a function. Okay, so let's print a function which gets a random number of arguments and acts on them and does certain operations on them. Okay, so we define a function sum of nums which has input as star input underscore num. So the star here means a random number of arguments. It could be 1, 2, 3, and going up to any number. So there is no limit as such. Maybe something that could hit the memory, that could be a limit, but I need to check on that. Maybe uh, I will check and let you know. So we have n number of in arguments, and then we take them one by one and then finally print their sum. Okay, so let's run this and with the random list of numbers. Okay, so the data type of arguments it prints as the class tuple. So that is the class where you can have a number of elements but which are not modifiable. Yeah, maybe you would get to know more about them in the data constructs and structures that Python uses. And then we call this function sum of nums with a random input, and then we see the total sum comes out to be 138. And let's run this with another input. So another random input we have. Okay, so here we get the sum as 690 because we passed bigger numbers. And similarly, if we suppose change something here, suppose 500. So let's see. So we get the sum as 1190. That means it has added up 500 to the total. Okay, so and then let's see another function, which is the function that checks for even or odd numbers. Let's execute it. I will just copy from here. Okay, so here the function is defined as even or check, and we have an input number. So it checks whether this number is an even or an odd number, and then we call this function. So we have given the input as 20, which is an even number, and the program prints it. Let's try with another number. So 207 is an odd number, and we get the same. Okay, let's see if we can use it in another way and whether this works or not. Okay, so you can also write an expression like here I am adding two numbers 23 plus 45, and then we get the, and there could be a complex check also. Maybe you have some big number and you are not very sure what this output would be. So, okay, so it's a decimal number, and since it's a repeating decimal, you can see it's printing it as an odd number. If we were to just check for mod here, okay, so since it has taken out the decimal part, so we see that the answer is 54, which is an even number. So you can uh, type in expressions, you can type in single number, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, or division with rounding off, and then you can just find out whether the resulting number is even or odd. So it can be pretty much used in certain applications. Let's move to the next one. Okay, so here is another example of a function where we would be doing something which can be related to some real life scenario. So we could have items or articles with a base price, and then you would be seeing in the shops that there is a markup price where the price that you see on the tags. So we have a function which has two arguments, and for one argument we are passing a default value. So this kind of function can be used where we have one or two or more arguments with default arguments, and uh, then if we do not have an specific explicit input for some of the arguments, then we can use the default value. So let's see how it works with or without a default value. So first let's define the function. So we would just first define this function. Okay, so the function is created, and let's see what's the logic behind it. So we have a function named markup underscore price with two arguments, base underscore price and the margin underscore perk. which is the short for margin underscore percentage. So here we have defined a default value of 5 for this margin. So that makes it 5%. And we have the markup price as the base price and with the input of margin price. So then we round it off to two, I think two decimal places, and then we finally print in a way that the markup price for a base of this much price is finally this markup price. So let's execute this with a random input. Okay, so we first call this with default value of margin percentage, where we do not pass any value for margin percentage, and we execute it. So we can see marked up price for a base of $200 is $205. So here it has taken the margin as 5, which is the default value, and then it adds up to that value, and then it prints the output. Okay, there was some break in between. So had to slightly change the function because the formula that we were using, we had to use 0.01 into the margin percentage, and we were using 0.005. So that has been corrected, and so for the markup price of 200, we have the result as 210. Let's try with another example where we pass the margin percentage. So let's see what the result is in this case. Okay, so we can see for $300 the markup price is 330 because margin is 10, so it becomes 10% of 330, which is, sorry, for 300 that makes it 30 rupees, $30, and so the next net result is $330. So this way we can write other functions for different purposes, and with logics and conditional looping and other features. In the next part, we would cover more about functions with different kind of arguments, and also some other special features that Python provides with functions. So that's all for today. I hope you like this edition. In case you want to share any comments or any inputs, you are welcome to do so. Let's meet in our next edition. Bye for now. Have a great day.